Hey, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I feel like probably a lot of people that I want to make a comment on on something that's happening in our community over here. Let's call the Philippines our community, our enlarged extended family, and certainly in our little locality of Bohol and Cebu, and let's include Dumaguete in that because of the present situation that I'm seeing over there about a man, young man in his 20s who came over here alone, and he brought with him a charity called Swiss Humanity, and you can find Swiss Humanity on YouTube, I'm sure. So what's this man trying to do? Well, how dare he? He's trying to help. Oh, for goodness sake, what's the world coming to? And he's trying to help, and he's gone in there, and he's apparently, I saw one of his, I've only seen one of his videos. I don't know a great deal about this man, but other people have contacted me and asked me what I think, as if I would know. The trouble is that people give their opinions on various people based on such slender information, such minuscule, I think. The man has said that he has a registered charity called Swiss Humanity, and of course it's based in Switzerland. Right, so what does everybody think? Well, he's raised a great deal of money, and he's young, enthusiastic, he's passionate, handsome young guy, and he wants to help, and he wants to come over here, and he wants to help. Now, why would this be of any interest to us? Well, we know what he feels, because that's what we did a few years ago. This was more unusual then, when we started on our particular journey, which has now led, after some 2 or 3 years, to our charity, Terence Beth Martin Giving Hope Inc., being approved. We are still bogged down in bogged down a relatively light amount of paperwork, but even so, we really feel for this person because he wants to help. Now, is he on his own? Actually, he's not on his own. There are quite a number of people who are helping, and they're doing it in the open. Now, this is the problem. As soon as anybody, and this is what this young man is finding out, as soon as anybody steps up and starts trying to help, straight away you have these people who oppose that. They don't want people to be helped. It's hard for me to understand. I can't actually understand why anybody would want to stop others. I can understand if people don't want to help. It's not. This is a journey that's not for everybody, and the idea of getting up in the morning and thinking, who are we going to help today, is a foreign notion to a lot of people, and I understand that. But what's difficult to understand is those who get up in the morning and say, what can we do to stop people from helping? And, well, I looked up one of my books, 1001 Smartest Things Ever Said, and one of the things that as I thumbed through, I've got a spooky feeling about how when you open a book, sometimes synchronistically, that means nothing is by accident, from the great psychologist Carl Jung. And he said nothing happens by accident. Things are synchronized like that. And here's a quote. It says, "The strongest man in the world is he who stands alone." Well, all through our trials and tribulations, Beth had me and I had her. We had each other. Even then, it was difficult, because it's hard to understand, as I said, the way that people exist on hate rather than on love, because love is the universal solvent in the entire universe. And even the worst kind of person, actually at some point in their life, in order to survive, has to be loved by someone. And it's when you look at what people do for their, not for a living, but to live, that you wonder how they ever find anybody to love them. I guess they do what they do in the belief that they're doing the right thing. Difficult to understand their logic, but maybe they don't let logic get in the way of a good story. Well, the strongest man is the one who stands alone. And this young man is standing alone right now. Now, when we were going through what he may well have dipped his toes into to see how the water is, and found it's freezing cold, we had everyone stand against us. That's how it seemed to us, and there was no one to stand up. Very few stood up for us back then. I think there may have been one or two, but boy, we were the flavour of the month for quite a time. And now this man is standing up, and he may well be the next one to be the flavour of the month. He's been in to see the DSWD, and he's explained in the false belief that actually talking and opening his heart will help. Maybe I'm a little bit jaded. I didn't feel that was it in terms of getting help. A lot of people complain when they're talking biblically, which is another minefield, isn't it? When you use biblical quotes in order to explain and justify what you're doing. And people say you should do, that the Bible states that you should do your acts of charity in the dark. Don't tell anybody. Do it secretly and walk away. And I understand that. But there's also quotes in the Bible which say, let the light shine on what you do. That faith is nothing if it's not without your work. The work that you do in the light of your faith. So, while it may seem to be the way to go to not broadcast what you do, people actually have been proven to feel better when they see good deeds done. When they actually see it, it actually influences someone. Now, some people, as we've said, that they dissolve into hate and say, oh, I've got to stop that and do whatever hateful thing that I can do in order to stop that. But for the majority of the people, they actually start to think about what they could do in their little area. Now here's the thing, if you look in the media, for the most part, you will actually come away feeling hopeless. But if you can go on YouTube and see some man taking his shoes off and giving them to a beggar, and then walking barefoot to his car, you actually think, well, there's maybe something that I could do in the area that I walk. And that may be from your car to Walmart. It may be from your car to go and see a movie or go somewhere to eat. And I mentioned that good deed that lady did. She went in and saw an older woman eating alone. And so instead of sitting there thinking, that looks sad, she went over and said, "Ma'am, I'm on my own. If you're on your own, maybe we could just sit and have our meal together." The old lady was delighted. And since then, the younger woman and the older woman have become friends. There's loads of great stories. Great stories. I've even noticed a rash of feel-good stories now that have been captured on video of animals helping each other, which amazes you. I even saw a little tidbit of news. I'm rambling, I know, there's nothing unusual in that, but that New Zealand have now declared that animals are sentient beings, that they're not just an extension of, say, a living organism like a tree, that they do feel conscience, or consciousness. And so that's why you get these extraordinary examples on video of an animal trying to help another animal. Now, that really does put some basic ideas to the test. Personally, we have some animals here that obviously know who we are and know who they are, and they'll come over to say hello. Now, they come over and say hello, and you'll hear them doing little crooning noises. We've got Red, who I always call a pudding because he's so gentle, and we've got Pogie, who's leader of the pack at the moment, it seems, and Pogie is the big, I think he's half sheep, half dog, and he comes over and wants to have an emotional, friendly exchange. So I can see the thing about these sentient beings. I don't think it's everyone. There are some, and I see stuff on YouTube where, oh my God, some of those dogs are so incredibly clever. But the rest of them, sorry, they're just dogs. But back to what's happening and how seeing these channels that are actually finally thinking, what could we do, and why don't we do it? And there's feeding programs going on, there's giveaways, there are people who they're doing it in a little bit of a tacky way, because they go and they present somebody who's homeless and really having a hard time, and present him with a question which he has to answer in a certain way, and then they'll give him 10,000 pesos or 20,000 pesos, but he has to do the test first, which give the guy a break, just give him the money. But then others are sending truckloads of rice out to Mindanao, where they're suffering at the moment, and they're doing this for no reward. They're doing it with their own money and for no reward. Now, for us, Beth and I have said that once we get to 200,000 subscribers, we have pledged to build a house every month for some unfortunate family. And so, all of it only begs the question. I mean, we're sort of in the clear now in that our channel, sorry, not our channel is quite separate to our charity, but our charity has been approved and we are licensed by the government of the Philippines to do welfare work. So that's what you'll be seeing us doing. And we're not soliciting for any funds, we're paying for this stuff ourselves. Well, aren't we heroes? Not really. But it's influencing how, not just us, but everybody is influencing everybody else. It's those concentric circles, isn't it? You get the original good deed, and that's like a stone that's dropped in the middle of the pond, and then the circles come out and out and out and out and out, and even on the very edge of the pond, the effect of that original plop into the water is felt. So my wish is that people will not stop these guys who are out there now and are trying to help. Don't be surprised if it doesn't happen. But I would like to think, this is Christmas, why don't they take a break? That would be a good idea. To this young man who is struggling now and feeling the effects of so much stress and the negative emotion, that's the thing. He's experiencing the effect of the negative, hateful emotion, and it will affect you. We know from experience, Beth and I know very well from experience. Good luck, sir. Keep going. Don't give up. What's that well-known saying? What does a good man have to do to let evil continue to win? And the answer is nothing. Don't have to do anything. You just do nothing and evil wins. So, do something. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.